Hi guys and welcome back to the channel and welcome to yet another Frieren Friday. Today we're checking out episode number 22, 23, geez, probably 24 actually. I have already forgotten the number because it's just so high at this point. We're so close to the end. I just checked and it turns out we're actually on episode number 25. Isn't that crazy? We are on episode number 25. We're checking this out. It's Friday as always and yeah, I just cannot wait. This is been so fun, this little arc that we've been on. I'm gonna be so honest, like I don't know if this is gonna sound crazy or anything, but when I heard that they were kind of going to be heading towards a school, I thought things were gonna get kind of boring for a while. I thought we kind of get like a little, lull period where things are just kind of like, I kind of missed the first half of Frieren, but honestly, I don't know if I'll be ready to move past this. This has just been so great that going back to like traveling along the roads and everything, like going on our little adventures, it's going to be strange to get back to that. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not that I'm not looking forward to it, it's just going to be weird because I am really enjoying the situation airy kind of situations, if that makes sense. Also, apologies, I don't know why the lighting is kind of dark right now. I have the lighting set up the exact way I always do. For some reason this t-shirt is kind of like making a weird, like, I don't know. I do deeply apologize. I hope that it'll not be annoying. If it is, I deeply apologize. But yeah, we're going to be checking this one out. I really hope that we finally see someone fight this fake Frieren. I hope that we get to see Fern and Frieren do it this episode, though. If I'm being honest, I think that we might get that a little later on. I feel like this episode is kind of going to maybe, but also maybe not. Maybe they'll kind of like reveal the plan later, but my guess is that they'll kind of speak about the plan this episode. They'll figure out what they're going to do exactly, and then the next episode they'll put it into practice. This episode's probably going to end with Fern and Frieren stepping into the room or something to that degree. And so my guess then is that in the next episode we will see that fight, but this episode's probably going to focus on this plan. We're probably going to see a resolution to the Virbel fight because I cannot see that going beyond this one right here. That would just make very little sense. This is going to be like the main event. This is the final boss of the dungeon essentially, so why would you show this and then Virbels? We also don't know what Lavine and Kane are up to. Ubel and Land, they have to advance. We're probably going to catch up with them, and anyone else who might be out there still. There was one guy who was huddled up by himself. I don't know if he's relevant or anything like that, but we're hopefully going to see more of them, and I suspect we're gonna see that before the final boss, so that's probably gonna fill out a lot of this episode. That's my guess anyway, but I still think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. I think it's gonna be an absolute ball, and I think it's gonna be a hell of an episode. This has been a hell of an arc. It's been a hell of a test, but yeah, I'm not gonna yap much longer. We're just gonna dive right into this one. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already, and comment down below letting me know, now that we're a little further into this arc, who your favorite character is out of this new bunch that has been introduced to us. And of course, if you enjoy these videos, please also consider hitting the notification bell down below so that you will be notified when these videos go live, and you can check them out first. Perhaps, leave a little first comment before anyone else can. But yep, here we go. Frieren, episode 25. Let's go. It's the way she says, I may be able to kill Ms. Frieren. Like, it's just such a funny way to phrase that. Oh shit. Why is Frieren think about Zeria right now? That was strange. Why did Frieren think about Zeria? I'm not going to think too much about it because I'll only hurt my head because I've got no reason to think anything at all. Alright, show us the episode title. A fatal vulnerability. Okay, that's what we are going to be seeking out with Frieren, because Frieren stated that she does have a vulnerability if the replica has a mind. Okay, so are these the guys that were with the girl who can use hypnosis? So they're dependent on Edel getting there. That's not exactly a great plan to be depending on that when she hasn't made it. Oh shit, really? Jeez. Okay, it makes sense that it would chase him though. Holy... Look at them go. Wow. If you want to be a first class mage, you're going to have to stand and fight. Do they know each other? I mean, I guess they're wearing similar garb, so maybe. What is said information? Okay, sure, but what's your information? Yeah, literally, Dankin. These guys were the first bozos to walk on and, like, not do anything. You can cast simple healing spells? Interesting. Is there anything you can't do? Methode, I think her name is? Okay, we're learning important information. That's good. Yep. Yep, no easy way anymore. We're gonna have to... I'm glad they had the information before they go in, though. Yeah, you say that, Danken, but when have we known anything about these tests? Yep, it's the purple crystal.
複生体特有の弱点は本当にないのかだ。仮にあの複生体がフリーレンと同じ実力なら死傷者が出かねない。
Yeah, seriously.
そいつに弱点はないぜ。
Oh, I thought it was Ubel. Okay, they're being controlled. How do you know that? How do you know that, Lavine? Yeah.
一番上の兄貴が大陸魔法協会の
Ah, okay. Yeah, literally imagine what would have happened if everyone worked together. We couldn't even do anything. Yeah, seriously. But, yeah, I mean, why should she like you? Maybe he should apologize first. Ha! Ah, okay. Yeah. It's the monster the crystal? Like... Or is the crystal the weak point? I don't know. We'll crack it open. Wow, really? At the risk of your life? Wow. Top class sealing spell. There's no subduing, there's only killing. Okay, so they're calling it a Spiegel now. So Spiegel is not the name of a specific monster, it's the name of a, like a species. Every single person. Oh shit, they're all making their way here. And the only replica that we know that has been defeated, I think, has been Ubel's. They're all making their way down to this very spot. So we're gonna have to get our game faces on and get going. Is it her inability to be awake? She's probably sleeping in there? What? Are you gonna flex that you're faster than her? Only two of them noticed, and it was Dankin and Methode. Was it a weak barrier? Because I saw a couple of bits missing. Someone share with the class, please! Oh. Really? Huh. But Fur noticed all along. Yeah, that's the one tiny vulnerability, so you're gonna have to get her to cast spells and then you guys can do your other things. that will help to take her down because she can't detect it. It's going to be a hell of a like brief moment that they have, but they're going to all have to be on board and they're going to have to jump on that shit. And I'm excited to see that. Oh, look at this. We get to see it once again. I hope everyone makes it. I would be really, really upset at this point if any of them don't make it. I've grown really attached to these characters. Yeah. We're all having fun here. Back to Wirbel. No. Is that the Spiegel? Oh no, okay. I was like, what the hell? That thing was ugly. Oh my god, he's hungover. He's dead. Can we use him as bait? We get to see Aizen fight again. Let's go. Wow. That was a hell of a blast of magic right there. Whoa! Himmel, that was quick. Oh, that's so cute. We always came up with a plan before we went head first into it. Lavine and Kane. They're adorable. What are they doing? Everyone's coming up with plans and those two kids are just over there fighting or massaging each other or just whatever they can. Let's begin. We're actually gonna do it? Wise words. Oh, the most dungeons in history. I love that flex. No, they don't need help. But it would be pretty cool to have them, like, others in there doing more. Yeah, that's true, that's true. Jeez, most of us? They want to be first class mages, so they're gonna have to do something. Surely, like, they're just gonna stand back? I hadn't even thought about that. That makes a lot of sense. Kane and Lavine. Methode. There's gonna be a Fern. A Dankin. Open the door. Oh. Is she gonna be honorable and let them walk in before she just starts blasting? I mean, this is Frieren, so I would suspect so. But look at that. Battle stance is ready. We're gonna cut away. We're not gonna get to see this fight just yet. Weakest. Okay, so who's weak against who so that they can account for that? That's very smart. Battle of the Ages right here about to go down. Oh, they're flying up into the air. Of course they are. I should have known. Oh! Wow, holy shit, the visuals. That is insane. Look at that! Holy shit. They are not holding anything back here at all. Wow, I bet these others wish they could watch this. What was that spell? Whoa, look at that walk through the fire and the flames. The lighting is incredible. This looks so good. How frightening I can be, absolutely. You're terrifying. Them fighting in the background still. Zoldrak, of course. And you're a speed merchant, Fern, so... Okay, fair enough. There's not as much time to have naturally, like, accustomed to it. But you can cast spells in half a moment. It's literally just a spell. Yeah. I love this, actually. This line of thinking. This is really cool. Oh, your Zoltrak can kill me. Holy shit. And she's talking about, like, Frieren as well. Because this is a replica of the real Frieren. We cut away? Okay, so we came here without Flamme? Is this after Flamme's death? After her passing? Oh, I think it was. That's really sad.
気まぐれで育てた弟子だ。
On a whim. Well, she's known as the mother of humanity's magic, so what does that make you, the grandmother?
皇帝が国を挙げた魔法の研究に認可を下ろしたそう。人間の文化圏では今まで魔法は魔族の技術であるとして、
Ah.
表立った研究は禁忌とされた。
Ah, so this is around the point of time where, so this is why, because Flamme was responsible for bringing magic to,
私にそ
you
れを
know,
引き継いで
the
ほしいという
masses.
内容だ。
Wow, she wants you to take over, but you're probably not going to do it.
魔法の研究の認可が下りただけでも快挙だというのに、それ以上を望むと。
Per Flamme, she finally was able to achieve something, but she couldn't.
大陸最大の統一帝国が魔法の研究と軍事転用を始めるということで、周辺諸国が黙っていない。わずか数十年で
Interesting.
魔法は大陸中に普及する。
I hadn't even thought about, like,
人類の誰も
this being
が
a
魔法を使える
possibility.
時代がやってくるんだ。
all of
これ
humanity.
は遠くない未来に
And then Fern
人
will
類
use
の魔王
it.
軍に抗う力を手に入れることを意味する。
Yep, that's Frieren right there.
すごいことだね。とても。
See, Frieren is optimistic and positive,
だ
whereas
が、それは
yep,
私
I
の
knew
望む
it.
ところでは
She's
ない。
she's more antagonistic. She's not as open and receptive. She's kind of stuck in her old ways.
実に不愉快だ。
That's disappointing. Well,
魔法
you're
は
living
特
in
別
that
で
era
ある
now.
べきだ。
Ah, wise up.
才ある者以外に教えるつもりはない。フランメとは最後まで分かり合えなかった。所詮は気まぐれで育てた弟子だ。
Okay, tell us about that whim.
先生はゼーリーが怒って遺言状を破り捨てるだろうって言っていたよ。
She knew you, and here you
そ
were
れで
saying
も
that you
伝え
wouldn't
ておきた
understand
かっ
each
たん
other.
だって。夢が叶ったよって。
That's
よく
really
わからな
nice.
いよ。多分もう会うこともないと思う。
Well,
Frieren.
here we are. We have met once more.
その前に少し歩かないか。
Walk
どう
with
せ
me.
私たちには時間はいくらでもあるん
Shh,
だ。
yeah, seriously. This will only take like 30 minutes probably.
誰もが魔法を使える時代はフランメの夢だった。
Why did you train her though? If you don't want anyone using magic. Oh, she's seeing little baby Flamme. That's so
あ
cute.
の
That's
子の
so
お気に入り
sad.
の魔法を知って
It was the flower one.
花畑を出す魔法。
Yeah,
何の役にも立たない。くだらない魔法
not
だ。
at all. It's a beautiful spell.
世界中の人がそんな魔法を使えるようになってほしいと。
That's a beautiful idea. And why are you shitting on her dream like that?
まるで女の子みたいな可愛い夢だ。でも実際にそうだったんだよ。これはあの子が私よりもずっと背の小さな小娘だった頃に語った夢物語だ。
See, you're recalling like happy times.
あの子には実現不可能なことだと思っていた。
The way
あの子
they're
は私
animating
にとっては
Flamme is so
無
adorable.
にも等しいような短い人生で人類の魔法の開祖にまで上り詰めた。
This is true.
まるで何かにせかされているみたい。
She knew her life was short.
人間には
Yeah.
寿命がある。
So she had to do as
私
much
た
as
ち
she
よりも
could.
死に近い場所にいるんだ。人生には重大な決断をしなければならない時がいくつもあるが、あの子たちはそれを先送りにはできないんだ。
That's very true. In this world, that's so sad.
私たちの時間は永遠に近いのだから。
Closer, but not exact.
人間がおよそ文明と呼べるものを築き上げてから長い年月が経った。これから先は時代が加速するぞ。
A mere 1,000 years, and we
たっ
see
た
Himmel
1000
the
年で人間
hero.
の時代がやってくる。
Yep.
私たちは人間に追い抜かれる。例を怠るなよ。
Do not neglect your training, Frieren. Absolutely not. Wow. The thumbs up.
お前を殺す者がいるとすれば、それは魔王か。
Look at that. Or me?
人間の魔
Okay.
法使いだ。
A human me. Fern!
楽しみだね、ゼーリー。
Wow, look at them
こ
back
れ
to
から
back.
先たくさんの魔法使いといろいろな魔法が見られるんだね。
That's such a sweet. Like, I love Frieren's outlook, especially when you get someone like Ziria. Oh. Here we go. Oh, holy shit. Look at them go. Fern doing her thing. Is that the end of the episode? No way. We don't know if it finished her off, but that was really cool. I loved it. Could she have cancelled her spell quick enough and put up a barrier? And that was episode number 25 of Frieren. And let me just say, like, this is not me shitting on any series or anything like that, but this was such a great episode for my mental. After, like, I literally just finished, and between finishing the episode and starting this post talk analysis, I actually, like, uploaded the video because it was running checks in the background while I recorded Frieren. But ReZero, I just finished editing episode 11 of season 2, and holy, going through that episode all over again just really brought me down because it was such an intense episode. So much awful shit was happening in that episode. So this episode was exactly what I needed for, you know, to bring me back up, to bring my spirits back up, bring my energy back up. And yeah, I just love that this is where we're at with Frieren right now. It's just so fun. It really does honestly feel like the perfect counter for the terrible things that are happening in ReZero right now that I'm experiencing while I'm watching it. And that's not me saying ReZero was bad, by the way. Far from it. ReZero was incredible. It's an amazing series, especially where we're at right now. I just love that I can sit down with an episode of Frieren, especially lately, like very much all the time recently. I will just be like, wow, I just feel so happy right now. I feel so excited. I feel like so giddy and everything. So yeah, I'm so glad that we're here. And yeah, I'm not gonna keep going in circles about this point. I'm gonna just dive into this episode, post hoc analysis, and yeah, we're gonna check this one out. So here we go. It's just kind of like interesting and strange to me because this episode was like so good and I loved it so much, but it's one of those episodes where I feel like there's not really a whole lot to talk about. It was besides, you know, certain parts, and I will talk about the episodes, I will talk about certain sections of the episodes and stuff like that, but I think it's very interesting that sometimes my favorite episodes are the ones that I have the least to say about. This one definitely very spectacle heavy in the middle section, where it had the magic, the fight between Frieren with Fern. A lot of the rest of the episode was leading up to that, and you know, like characters learning things that we already knew and everything like that. So, you know, it did start slow and work its way up, but I think that it really benefited from that. I think that, you know, starting slow and working up to a really high intense, like, action sequence before bringing things back down again, before picking them up again right at the end. I think that it really worked in the series' favor. I think that it's done an incredible job of mixing flashbacks into action and into the series. Like, it's probably one of the best to do it that I have experienced anyway. I really do honestly love these flashback sections. They're some of my favorites. You know, there's obviously other huge series out there that do flashbacks. Pretty much every other series out there does flashbacks actually. So when we pick this episode up with new content, like new stuff that we haven't already seen before, because the episode yet again starts with a little recap, we start off with them concocting a plan, and their plan is revolving around Edel still. So they're still kind of assuming that there's the possibility that it will have a mind. I suspect that they would have come up with a plan if it didn't, and they would have come up with some sort of alternate and some sort of switch up if that hadn't been the case. So I don't think they were boxing themselves into this plan with Edel, but the way that this episode kind of plays out, where we do then learn that Edel has left the trial, that's when they start to come up with another plan. I don't think that's saying that that's the only reason they did. I really do think that they would have come up with a plan A, a plan B, and probably a plan C, D, maybe even an E, just in case, because they need to get past this thing. They need to win, and they need to beat this trial, because as Frieren said, there's no such thing as a dungeon that cannot be conquered. But anyway, this guy that was with Edel's group, not the bald one but the other one, the one with the big fancy mustache, he shows up and he is very heavily injured. He's damaged, he's hurt, he's bleeding, he's putting blood on the walls and everything, and he shows up stumbling in to the bottom layer where Frieren and the gang are. He is very clearly hurt and needs help here. So they rush over, they go to help him, and of course, you know, he shares about the whole thing with the mines and everything, so it's catching everyone up to scratch with what we already know as the viewer. So that was nice that they didn't have to go into the fight to learn that. It would have been fine if that had happened, but I'm glad that we don't have to kind of learn things we already know through the fight. You know, it's good to have everyone, including us, on the same page. We don't know what's happened to Baldy Boy here, because he was pierced through the abdomen, it looked like. I didn't get a great look at where he was pierced, and that made him turn around and fight Zensei, because that way it allowed the other guy to escape. So realistically, Zensei is probably pretty close to the room where they're all at. So it probably then is the case that the longer this guy can hold her back, the better. So it's maybe it would maybe be a good idea for some of them to go and seek her out and seek this other guy out, so that they can help, so that they can hold her up longer, because she's probably going to be the biggest threat against the group. He is honestly the only thing holding back the most dangerous replica that isn't Frieren, the final boss. So anyway, they ask for someone to heal this guy. I don't even know this guy's name, if I'm being honest. He's just mustache. He's got the Monopoly Man facial hair. He gets healed by Methode. I think her name is Methode. Like, in my head, I think I was maybe calling her Melode in the previous episode, but I think it's Methode. Forgive me if I'm wrong, and you'll have to correct me. But she can just do about everything, it would appear. She pulls out a little goddess book and can use basic healing spells. So she's able to heal him. She's able to keep him, you know, patched up and make sure he'll be okay. So yeah, she's kind of like a jack of all trades. I don't know if she's a master of anything, because she's able to do week this, week that, week this, week that. So yeah, I think that in the same vein that Ubel could be potentially a threat, because Ubel obviously can learn and do whatever anyone else can just by, you know, empathizing with them and everything. I wonder if she is kind of like someone who's hiding her true nature, hiding her true abilities and everything, kind of like what Frieren did with Aura. I'm getting a little wary of Methode, because the more we go on, the more there is about her that just seems like you can do a little too much. Like, there's just something about her, so we'll see where that goes in the future. Other than that, you know, everyone else is great. Like, I love hanging out with these guys so much. It has been so much fun. And of course, then that's when they all start questioning, like, what is the nature of these replicas? Who created them? What created them? What is the deal with everything? Like, we don't know enough to go face first, you know, to go head on, you know what I'm trying to say, to face this replica without knowing more about what created it. Because who's to say that it won't just, like, I don't know, they never said this, but who's to say that it won't just be able to heal the replica? Who's to say that it won't just be able to create another replica, a double of that replica? Who's to say it won't be able to do this, that, the other? They don't know enough. They know nothing. So then that's of course when Kane and Lavine show up, because Zensei is going to say shit. Zensei is the proctor. She's not going to say a thing. So these two girls show up, and Lavine is like, yeah, I know all about this monster. I knew about this monster because my oldest brother, the one who bought me the dress that I was wearing not long ago, he was part of the expedition group that went into this place. He knows a lot. He passed on a lot of information to me, and therefore I know what this thing is. I know about weaknesses and stuff like that. So she knows all of this, and that's when Denkin, for the second time I think this episode, says, see, this is why we all should have gone together. And absolutely, like, that's the biggest bummer of this whole thing so far. If they had all stuck together from the beginning, none of this shit would have happened. They would have known everything. Lavine could have told them. They could have got through this whole place without much trouble. Maybe one or two of them could have got picked off by traps and had to escape, but they would be perfectly fine. But of course, everyone has to go their own way. And yeah, I'm surprised that Lavine and Kane didn't stay with this group. I wonder if it is because of Richter. It would be pretty funny if it was, but I think Lavine says, like, we just I can't remember exactly what she says, but you know, it kind of insinuates that they just wanted to do their own thing. They didn't trust these people, and so they weren't going to stick around with them. And on the topic of Richter, I think it's very interesting that he's sitting on the outside of all of this. He's sitting way back, similar to Zensei. He is not necessarily involved in all this. So he's another one that could be really interesting to keep an eye on. He's there, but he's in the background. He's not... He might be someone that we will forget about in an episode or two, but he's there, he's present, he's lurking, and so he could be a threat, he could be a danger. But I feel like at this point we've grown a little too attached to him. We've seen some weaknesses within him, and we've seen some, I don't know if I would say growth, but we've seen something in him that indicates that he is a good person, whereas like with Methode we know nothing. Lavine rips into him, and it's so funny, calling him old man, saying that he would abandon anyone, and that's the kind of vibe you do get from Richter. But maybe by the end of this we'll see that he actually steps up and he protects someone. I think the most upsetting thing that could happen is if, say, Lavine or Kane were about to be hurt, damaged, killed, whatever, and he jumps in front of it and takes the hit for them. I don't know if he would do it. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if anyone's going to die, but I feel like that would be like a really great end to his growth arc, and it would show that he is not the person that we think he is, not the person that Lavine and Kane think he is. But I really just hope it doesn't come to that. I hope he can prove things in other ways. I hope he can, just take out someone that's about to maybe hurt Kane or Lavine, and that's his proof that he cares, and that's his proof that he will do whatever it takes for them. I hope it doesn't come to him having to jump in front of something. And that's when we learn that all of the replicas in this building are going to be making their way to the bottom, and there's a replica of everyone here. And someone did leave a comment in the previous episode that I thought was very interesting, that there's the high chance that Zensei thought she would be the final boss. She thought that her replica would be the final boss in this dungeon, and that to get past it, they would have to fight her. And that makes sense because, as it was pointed out, I thought maybe it didn't do as Zensei would, and it did kind of target a vital area, but I guess it didn't because, Edel was okay. She was able to escape and everything. Like, she's hurt and she had to escape, but, it didn't kill her. It didn't target anything vital. So it would make sense that for the final boss that they have to actually face, that it would be against a boss that wouldn't be trying to kill them, just take them out, because it's got her mind, even though it has no mind. So with the new information in mind, Fern has a plan. She asks Frieren to go stand against a wall, and she quickly casts a spell against her. And that's when Denkin and, yet again, Methode notice something. It's the fact that she is very much in tune. Like, I'm really wary of her at this point because she's too good at all of this stuff for being someone who's like a jack of all trades, master of none. Like, she's too knowledgeable and knows too much, and she's too good at certain things. But anyway, she and Denkin are able to detect, as Fern has learned in the past without even talking about it with Frieren, Frieren stops detecting mana altogether in order to cast a spell. That seems like a huge vulnerability, because that means if she's facing against multiple targets, in order to cast a spell, regardless of whether it's offensive or defensive, she cannot detect what anyone else in that vicinity is doing. Fern here is like, yep, that's all we need. You go keep Frieren occupied and I'll be there to occupy her because she won't see me coming. And it's a great plan. It's a really cool plan because Frieren's vulnerability is actually kind of crazy considering who Frieren is. That is a huge oversight that Frieren has not built up and strengthened over the years. We get a nice little montage of them coming up with these plans and everything, and we get to see more Kane, Lavine pulling each other's hair out and everything. Fern and Frieren having this nice little conversation about Fern saying to Frieren that she looks happy, and of course she is, because as she shares with us and as she's thinking, this is reminding her of when she would be part of these same conversations, these same plans in a dungeon before they would face against a boss, face against an enemy or whatever, when she was with Himmel's party. And that makes perfect sense. She misses those days dearly. And it was really nice getting to see that party actually fight an enemy here. And it was the ugliest enemy I've ever seen in my life. And also, typical fashion, Hyder is drunk, he is hungover rather, and he is not a part of this at all. He is not able to help whatsoever. whatever. And you would think being a priest, he would be able to cast a spell to cure his hungoverness. And let me just say, that moment where Frieren delivers that flex of I'm the mage from the party that has cleared the most dungeons in history, that was incredible. Huge kudos and pats on the back to Frieren for just delivering that line while everyone is like, are you and Fern going to be enough? Is this enough? Like, can you do this by yourselves? Of course she can. She's Frieren. Like, she doesn't even have to say anything else. She just has to say, yeah, I'm Frieren. So the others are going to slow down the other replicas, which I think is a great plan. So then we get to the fight, and it's an absolute spectacle. It looks so good. It's amazing. We get to see so many flashy effects and everything. It's one of the best looking uses of color in the series and reflections and flashy magic that I've seen by far, and I loved it so much. I think it looked so amazing. And we get to see, you know, Fern just running around and everything for a bit, casting spells every so often when she gets a chance, and Frieren occupying fake Frieren. And that cold ass shot of Frieren walking towards fake Frieren with the explosions and the red in the background, that is such a great shot. That looks so cool. And we learn that because Zoltrak is a very new spell for elves, it is the perfect spell for Fern to use. No other spell should she use. She should use Zoltrak to take down the fake Frieren, because Frieren needs to take a second still to think about Zoltrak because it is so new. And Fern does not have to think like that because this is a spell that she has used since she started Magic. It's not anything that came along recently in the past century or something. And that's when we get a really interesting flashback to Ziria with Frieren, where Frieren delivered Flamme's will, which indicated that she was able to convince the, I can't even remember, but like an emperor or something to accept magic and to make it more accessible. And she hopes that with her passing, Ziria will be able to carry that on. And of course, Ziria, not wanting to have things advance, wanting to keep things stuck in the past and everything, she says no and she rips up the will. And that's when Frieren hilariously declares that Flamme said she would do that, but she doesn't understand why Flamme knew all that and still asked her to come here anyway. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense because it's Flamme showing to her old master, hey, my dream that I had as a child, which we learn, you know, later on in this episode, my dream, I was able to fulfill it. I was able to see it through. And yeah, this is my last wish. My last wish is that you continue that. But of course, she doesn't want to do that. That kind of harks back to the episode where Flamme and Frieren showed up together in front of Ziria, where Flamme said that it would be someone like Frieren who would carry the torch forward, not Ziria. And so yeah, I guess it's because she asked Frieren to hide until it was time to take out the Demon King. That's why Frieren was not involved in these talks and not involved in continuing magic and bringing magic to humanity and everything. I know that obviously Flamme did bring magic to humanity, but not, you know, building upon that, because yeah, sadly, as Ziria says, humans don't have that kind of life. They live for a short time, so they need to speed run towards their goals. They need to rush towards them. They don't have time to waste. Whereas elves, they can take a century, they can take a decade, millennium, whatever it is, if they so wish. And yet again, we're reminded of Flamme's favorite spell, a field full of flowers. I wonder if we will get to see this spell used again this season, because I think that, you know, having the guy that's with Virbel use flowers, I think that could be like the perfect combo attack, Frieren and that guy. So we'll see if anything comes about with that. I'm not entirely sure. So, you know, stay tuned, I guess. But it's interesting that it reminds us here because we learned that a while ago. But I really do love how Flamme was depicted here as a little girl who had this dream and worked her whole life towards that dream and rushed ahead of everyone. She was always charging ahead and she became the mother of humanity's magic. And yeah, I think it's a great thing to say about Flamme. I love the way she was animated here. She looked adorable and she looked so full of life and energy, and I just love seeing that side of Flamme because we saw the kind of motherly side when she was with Frieren. And yeah, I think it's really cool that Ziria is like, yeah, humanity is advancing and they will soon overtake us, and so Frieren, if you are killed, I hope that it is by either the Demon King or a human mage. That makes sense for what she's saying, where humans are going to overtake elves. And yeah, I think that we're seeing that big time through Frieren right here. But yeah, I think that also the parallel between Ziria and Frieren's line of thinking, I think that is very telling, because Frieren, when she learns that humans could take out the Demon King, she's like, wow, that's awesome, so cool. Whereas Ziria is like, I don't want that. So yeah, it's just, they're very different people. They have both very different outlooks and everything, and it'll be interesting to see if there are more parallels between the two, because even that shot where Frieren was looking out towards humanity and towards civilization, who turned around and looked the other way? Ziria. She looked the opposite direction. She's looking towards the past. She is set in her old ways. That shot right there is very symbolic. I think it's a great shot, and it's very symbolic, and I think that they did a great job with that one right there. And of course, it's Ziria who then looks towards Frieren, because despite the fact that it's Ziria who knows just about everything, Frieren is the one who she is looking towards. She could learn a thing or two from Frieren. What a great little message within that flashback. I do honestly think it was a nice little section. I didn't think we would see more Ziria content really until maybe the end of the season, but that's then when we cut back to Frieren dodging an attack from fake Frieren, and of course the human mage who can surpass an elf mage shows up, and she's about to take down fake Frieren. And yeah, what a great way to end this episode. I wish there was more though, and I'm so excited to check out the next one if this continues. If it doesn't continue, that's cool. But yeah, I'm surprised that we never caught up with Virbel before checking out all of this stuff, so we'll see what happens next time. This was a great episode. I don't really know if I have much more to say about it. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe if you've not done so already, and comment down below letting me know your favorite character of this new group that we've been introduced to, and of course hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when these videos go live. That's going to do it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you're having a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next one. Take care.